world confusing, congested? Are you just trying to find your way? There must be a light at the end of this tunnel. Well, there's a way to find your calling, to find that job you want and deserve, when someone will come up to you and say, "You're hired." Hi, I'm Steve Piazzale, a career and life coach, and welcome to Your Hired, a show about jobs and careers in which we answer questions such as, how do I find work that makes me come alive? How do I get that job I want and deserve? How do I find out about careers in different fields? We answer each of those questions by having knowledgeable, lively guests, and we certainly have one today. But before I introduce her, I'd like to invite you to check out my website where we've added the 12 keys to getting a great job. You can also sign up for the free career newsletter there and find out about the coaching I do. Essentially, I work with people one-on-one to help them get unstuck and build momentum towards achieving the goals they desire faster than they would on their own. And this ends up saving them time, money, and usually a lot of stress. That's at www.bayareacareercoach.com. That's www.bayareacareercoach.com. We're really pleased to have Amber Rosenberg here today. She is a career and life coach for working mothers. She helps them balance their work-life issues, deal with stress, deal with guilt, redefine their success. She's been quoted in the print media. She's been on television, and again today. And she's a co-author of a book where her chapter has to do with time management, so we're going to make sure to ask her all about that. She's very lively, articulate, and knowledgeable. I welcome Amber to the show. Hey, Amber, how are you?
Thanks for having me. Good, how are you?
Fine. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do, but give us the path you took to getting here.
Well, like you mentioned, I work mostly with really high-achieving working mothers who really used to define themselves by their career, and then now they have kids, and all of a sudden they're pulled by these conflicting priorities. So I really help them to manage stress and to manage guilt, and like you mentioned, redefine success on their own terms. And it's an interesting path that got me here, sort of a personal fulfillment path, I like to say, where after graduating from college with a BA in psychology and women's studies, figure.
Those are helpful.
It fits in.
Yeah, right.
I ended up in the corporate world, sort of unintentionally, and just doing a lot of media training and public relations training with corporate executives, Fortune 500 companies, Hewlett-Packard, Procter & Gamble. And what was really great pay, and I advanced very quickly, it was really missing that personal fulfillment that I so craved and I so knew that I needed in my career and wanted in my career. So I went in-house to nonprofits to do something really similar. And while it was better because I believed in the mission of the nonprofits, again, it was missing that sort of one-on-one connection that I so craved. Then I found out about this new kind of coaching called life coaching. And I went back to school and got trained in it. And that's when I started my new business 3 years ago, working with working mothers and helping them with their careers and their personal life. And
has that been a better match than what you had experienced before in the corporate world, that connection you now have?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm my best self when I'm coaching people. It's like I get to come alive and I get to feed that energy back and forth, that exchange. And my clients are amazing. I mean, they completely inspire me and just get me jazzed up and happy to be part of helping them to affect change in their lives. I mean, for me, what's more rewarding?
Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes I'm in the same business you are, and I get energy from my clients, but also sometimes when I'm talking to them, I say to myself, listen to this, Steve, because what you're saying makes sense too. It's so many times we have to be reminded of a lot of the same things to remember it ourselves.
Yeah, it's a good point. And we learn a lot from our clients. I'm sure you can relate to that.
Especially these high achievers.
Oh yeah.
So why don't we talk about the major issues, I know this is a big topic, but the major issues facing working mothers.
Yeah, I think working mothers' 5-letter word is guilt. I mean, I don't have any conversation with any working mother where that word just doesn't come up. It's guilt, again, that they can't be the mom and they can't be the professional they want to be. Because they're so high achieving and they really have high standards for themselves, that they're constantly pulled by these conflicting priorities. And you know, sort of to dovetail off of that, there's just not enough time in the day. So feeling like at the end of the day, they sort of disappointed themselves and came up short both on the personal and the professional front.
And that's the main challenge they face? Because I was thinking, there are so many jobs that require people, you see your peers working so many more hours than you were working those hours. How do they deal with that? I mean, how do you help them balance where they draw that line?
That's a really good question. There is that internal definition of success that gets sort of tinkered with when you look at other people and start to compare yourself with other people. And I think the most important thing is to really figure out what success is to you, because no two people define it the same way. Is it a fat salary? Is it a loving partnership? Is it some fulfilling career? Is it being a great mom? To really take some time to reflect honestly and say, okay, this is how I define success. And it's not about her next to me or him next to me. It's about me. And just sort of staying strong in that.
Yeah, the thing that I've found challenging with the clients I've worked with is that they get the evaluations at work, they get ranked by how they perform, but there aren't quite the clear rankings at home, but you deteriorate your relationships. You know, it isn't sort of like that somebody's saying you received a C as a husband or a wife or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. And a lot of the women that I work with end up, when they do a lot of sort of soul searching and prioritizing and coming up with what that big picture vision is for them, what they really want is to really be with their family. I mean, yeah, the career is absolutely important. And if they had to prioritize, they'd really pick being a good mom.
Okay. So you've brought along some tips for working moms who are overwhelmed juggling their career and kids. I assume they're not actually juggling the kids in the air. So what we're
they would have joined the circus if they wanted to do that.
The kids so we're going to show this graphic to the audience, and I thought I would read the bullet points and you could tell us what it's about.
Sure.
So in How to Juggle Career and Kids, the first thing you say is manage expectations.
So again, we put so much on ourselves, you know, to be these super moms, to be these super women. And it's really about how you can manage your own expectations. If you slow down, oftentimes you notice that, exactly, we all forget to breathe. Forget to breathe as we all breathe. You'll notice that it's really often unrealistic expectations of yourself and your time. You know, and you're your own worst enemy oftentimes. So if you can find a way to get back in touch with that, slow down, and be really conscious about, maybe I'm over expecting what I can do today. Or, you know, we all have a tendency as humans to think we're going to accomplish more in the short term and think we're going to accomplish less in the long term.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So in the short term, what can I really get done today? Let's be real about it. And then you get to feel good about it. That's the best part. You get to feel good about it at the end of the day when you've accomplished it.
Now, I just took a deep breath when you said slow down. Do you actually teach them how to slow down their breathing and do, was it diaphragmatic or belly breathing or whatever it is?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's taking really long, slow, deep breaths, just in through your nose, out through your mouth. I mean, sometimes we'll literally start our calls or our meetings just going through that breathing because it's a best practice that you or anyone can adopt for their life. A lot of my working mom clients say, oh, you know, if I start my day with 60 seconds to 2 minutes of really long, slow, deep breaths, the whole day has a different feel.
Wow.
It just changes it.
So maybe it's similar if you did a little meditation or if you did a little yoga. There could be other things that...
Yeah, I like to call it a daily renewal ritual.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.